Get this 11 to 1 weekdays on the Triple M network. With myself, Tony Martin, yes. You know the drill. It's Ed Cavalier in the sidecar.
Hello.
And pushing the buttons, it's Richard Marsland. And you know what? It's not as easy as it looks.
This is like a highly engineered racing car.
Yeah.
One miscue.
That's right.
You take one corner a foot too wide and it'll crash. I'll tell you what I wouldn't be doing. I wouldn't be putting an L-plate driver in the cockpit at the moment.
Well, that's what we've done. Did Mr. Costello have another crack at that same tortured analogy recently?
Yeah, he did.
Can we hear that?
I've used the analogy. It's like a highly designed Formula One racing car.
Right.
It's driving at a fast pace.
Yep.
But if a driver in a highly calibrated Formula One motor racing car takes a corner too wide or brakes in the wrong way, you'll have a crash.
Okay.
What is he talking about there? Presumably the economy.
That's just advice from Mark Webber at the end there. And a highly designed Formula One car as opposed to a shoddily designed one.
I know.
It's now being calibrated, fully calibrated.
Fantastic.
Watch out for the turns. And speaking of vehicular sadness, I read this in the Australian.
What a link.
I know.
Brilliant.
There's me having a go at Costello. Watch these gears crunch. It's sad news, I think, for radio fans today, right across Australia. The Austereo network, we're part of that network,
We are.
are retiring the Black Thunders and the Rock Patrols. Instead, we will be focusing on a new fleet of more environmentally friendly but unbranded station vehicles.
Oh.
Undercover Thunders. Oh, it's going to be like Jump Street. That could be fun.
I don't understand. Isn't the idea to promote, though? I don't get that.
Oh.
I can think of a few reasons why perhaps they weren't as cost-effective as they might have been.
Oh, because of the people who are driving them stealing all the stuff in the back.
What about using the Thunders for weekend fishing trips, anything like that?
I've never taken it to a fishing trip, but it's done some house moving. It helped
Yeah, see, I
cut
knew
some
it.
stuff to a party, but it's still promoting the station.
That's right.
Yep.
Two guys loading things into the back of it for a party is still station promotion. It
It's
makes
high
it look
profile larceny.
This is we only slept through a giveaway once.
Oh,
That's all I'll say.
Well, what's going to happen to Mustang Sally? I mean, what's the future for Runaround Sue? What's going on with these? I mean, their career has been put on the Isocold cans of Coke.
Because you used to have nicknames, didn't you?
Yeah, what was yours?
No, well, because there was a bloke that I worked with who gave himself a nickname, which I didn't like.
Let's hear it.
I can't say. Shark Man. He called himself the Shark Man, right? And then told us all to call him that. So I would call him Diego Flambert or, anything I could think.
Diego Flambert.
Anything I could think.
Oh,
It's Diego Flambert here.
those heady days, and they're all past now.
Yeah.
And that's right. In case you've not heard this before, Ed did begin his radio career doing live crosses from the Thunders. Have we got one there?
Good morning, Triple M Street Team out and about on the street. Hepburn Park is where you'll find us this morning, so come and grab the free stuff. Coca-Cola Zero, zero sugar, maximum taste. Also got the Who magazine, the first with the celebrity gossip, and our eggs chocolate, the best Easter eggs in the world. Catch us in the next 15 minutes, Hepburn Park. This is the Triple M Street Team out and about at Hepburn Park on Triple M.
Oh, those were the days. Was it always the Prodigy? Was that the Prodigy or was that the...
Yeah,
That was Chemical Brothers.
Chemical Brothers.
Yeah.
It was always something upbeat and fun, but
Yeah.
I should have sent that into the Ra Awards. It's for Best Newcomer. It's better than that donkey courtroom nonsense I sent in.
It's not even called the Ra Awards anymore. It's the ACRAs. It's
whoops.
probably part of the problem.
There we go. There's my problem. I'm sad to see them go, but there is nothing sadder. And if you're listening, promo gentlemen, I am talking to you. There is nothing sadder than a promo guy. Promo girls, normally quite hot. Hey, Rich, with me?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? So then they're kind of, they're just being fun and flirty and giving out the free stuff. The looks of utter disgust that I would get from people with real jobs when a man in a black T-shirt and a Triple M beanie would hand them a Mars bar was just, I've never felt such anger in my life. So what do you do, mate? Oh, I drive these cars. What's that, 2 hours work a day? No, we do 4 crosses, so it's more like 35 minutes. Really? I dig trenches all day. Okay, how about a sanitarium up and go? Got a sticker.
I remember when I was on the Melbourne Triple M breakfast show in the 80s, we would throw to someone called Captain Carl Van Est out in the Thunders.
Really, a Dutchman?
And there was some very poor sizzle in those days. I remember crossing to Captain Carl at 5 to 7 one morning, in the car park of Nicobella's Night Spot.
Oh.
Wow. There's a lot of action there at 5 to 7.
And he's gone. And this is what he said.
cry.
Not a word of lie. This was the sizzle he was dangling. Okay, don't forget the first 10 people to join me down here at the car park at Nicobella's get themselves a plastic CD case and a packet of Stimorol. That was it. An empty CD case and a packet of Stimorol.
And then was he crushed? Do you know what I mean? As he was saying, a packet of... You could just hear the people trampling him to get it.
Dragon music drowned out the rest of what he was saying. I can't remember. What an era. And my idea for a Thunder promotion was
I got
not...
some action out of that too. This is sad.
Okay. We'll find out what's happening in the back of the Thunders in the next hour. Yeah. But this was my idea for a Thunder promotion. This was turned down by the station. As you know, we have 2 stations under the same umbrella.
Yes.
Rival stations, technically, but it's no secret.
They're sisters and brothers.
Sister stations, in truth.
Yeah.
My idea was get the Thunder from one station and get the Thunder from the other station and stage a full-on frontal stack out the front.
Great.
And not tell anyone it's been staged. Like, that would get you front page of the paper.
People died, you'd get more publicity.
Yeah, well,
as
obviously there'd be stunt drivers involved. But the hilarious irony of rival stations crashing their Thunders would get you front page
That's right.
of the Murdoch Press.
That's right. I once hit a stationary pole at Subway. Does that count?
Fantastic. How can that happen? Because the Thunder driver's always so safety conscious because they leave their lights on high beam during the day.
Yeah,
Is that true? You were told
we have to.
Yeah, that's right.
To attract attention and to be more safe. I only ever crashed it once. Once and a half.
Well, we're now entering the era of the undercover Thunders. We'll be following their progress with interest, but what a day you've tuned in for on Triple M's Get This. Who is coming up on the show, Rich?
Rihanna and her Umbrella, Shakira and Snoop Dogg, Madonna, Snow Patrol, Fergie, the Black Eyed Peas, and the Chili Peppers.
I don't think it's any of those, actually.
Did he say the Tilly Peppers at the end?
He said I think it was the Chili Peppers. I'm not sure.
The Tilly Peppers.
Never mind. Okay, so.
The Jennifer Tilly Peppers. What are you talking about? Hang on. What about Peter Harvey, though? He comes out with some interesting facts, doesn't he?
If they want my sperm, they're going to have to get me into bed and get it the conventional way.
Okay. I don't know what the context was for that quote.
Great station promotion.
That's Richard Marsden fishing.
First one to get some of Peter Harvey's sperm wins.
Yeah. The new Dean Geyer album.
Brilliant.
Sorted. Wow. Listen to this. A married Roman Catholic politician whose party has espoused family values and is pressing for all Italian MPs to take drug tests.
Can I just stop you there?
Yeah.
I figure the next sentence you're going to say is not going to include the words lives up to what he says.
Correct.
Thank you.
Was exposed yesterday after a prostitute took an overdose of cocaine in his hotel room.
Brilliant.
Bang! Ooh. The deputy of Italy's Christian Democrat UDC party, whatever that is. But anyway, listen to this. He's proud of what happened.
So am I.
Because he was the one who risked exposure calling for help when the woman began hyperventilating and hallucinating.
Oh, that's selfless. It's very big of him. I mean, really.
He claims he had not realised the woman was a prostitute.
No.
He had gone for dinner with friends and struck up a sympathetic rapport with a woman in her late 20s.
Yep.
One thing led to another, and they ended up in bed together at the Hotel Flora on Via Veneto.
Goodness.
Asked if he had paid the woman for sex, Mr. Mele replied, not exactly. I spontaneously gave her a present. Luckily, he was wearing a condom at the time. Pressed further, he admitted the present had been a sum of cash, though he adds, not excessive.
No. I'm not getting ripped off.
There had been a second woman present. She had only chatted to the first woman while he fell asleep in bed.
Yeah.
I think I fell asleep while they were talking, he said. Perhaps that was when they took the drugs. Jeez. Now, whenever you see some super religious bloke on the telly, you just wait for, the coin to flip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super religious root rats everywhere.
Having a go at kids, potty mouth style, like that priest in Melbourne. It's the first time I've ever seen skaters on the news being held up as the moral authority. 17-year-old skaters. Their precious ears have been soiled by a priest.
As soon as you see some bloke in a suit who's spouting a lot of Christian gear, you just wait for them to walk away from the podium and there's no pants on and just women's underwear. Don't you? You just every time.
But maybe that's how they know. Maybe the people who own brothels and who sell drugs are watching the telly going, all right, here he comes. What's he? Oh, the head of the Christian. Oh, good family alliance. Get his number. He'll be up for it.
Don't worry.
Bang up for it.
He'll probably call us. Every time there's somebody who's got a religious cult.
Yeah, no.
Every time.
Yeah, it's all sex-based.
The only precept for the cult seems to be everyone has to sleep with the leader.
So good.
He's usually someone who looked like me at school, basically.
Yeah, it's working for Rich.
Yeah, it is.
How's your cult coming along?
Colt's fine, actually.
How
I've been
is
getting some
everyone?
numbers through my MySpace page.
Really?
Things are pretty good. And
When's
we
the
might have a bit of
spaceship?
a Kool-Aid party after the show.
Fantastic.
Yeah, great.
Excellent.
When's the
Looking forward to
spaceship arriving to take you all to the planet?
it. Next time the comet comes around. Of course. That's only logical.
But until then, what are we going to do?
Well, I mean, obviously we had Caftanuary.
Yep, yeah.
Okay, so the caftans are out of the mix.
Okay.
Because caftans are traditional good cult wear.
Yep, absolutely.
We have to wear Nike shoes and lose our genitalia.
There you go.
Okay, so off with the testicles, guys, and we'll move on throughout our day.
Just pop down to MySpace and click onto Marsland Dishes. Just look for the decapitated head of Richard Marsland atop the Mars Pathfinder. Follow the links.
Fantastic.
And get yourself laid. What I love is when it comes to, how to treat the ladies, you know who I turn to?
No.
Carl Stefanovic.
On occasions, I've done the bathing, I've done the meal, and I've done all the things that traditionally women do. And I'm still, keen as mustard. I don't quite understand why women generally aren't.
What?
Hot and heavy.
How did they get rid of the beeps? I can't hear the beeps on. They've got some new filter down there.
Well, he's had an oil change. So
I feel like you'd have to go through a checklist before you started making out with Carl Stefanovic. Now, I'm hoping to... Yes, and there's going to be some time when I'm hoping to... Thank you, yes. Now, just tick... Yep, good, sign that. All right, then.
I'll have that notarised.
We can... the lawyers will get that back in a week, and we can get it on.
We'll be on the job week after next, maybe week after that.
Fantastic.
And don't forget, I come with 4 beverage holders. Now, what about this, the world's loudest clapper? Have you heard about that bloke?
No.
Chinese man whose clapping hands are nearly as loud as the roar of a helicopter is hoping to get into the record books. Zhang Quan, 70, has his clapping monitored by local environmental protection officials. His claps measure 107 decibels, only slightly lower than helicopter blades, which measure 110. When I am clapping, even my own ears feel painful.
Wow.
That's why I usually don't clap, says Zhang. He could technically face arrest for noise pollution if he applauded in public.
Fantastic.
incredible. Plus, lights all over the United States of America are turning on and off every
That's
time he
right.
breaks into applause.
That's right. Maybe they could just wire up the whole Chinese grid to this bloke every morning. Clap on,
You're powerful.
clap off.
Powerful man.
That is it. We've got to get a recording of that bloke. We need a recording of this guy.
He might be man of the year.
Just and replace all of our applause
Pauses
cards
with
with just him. Boom, boom. Very good. It's
Very
like
good.
Laurie Oates walking into a room. That's unfair. Laurie Oates seems to be going down the Mikey Robbins path.
Is he slimming down?
He's slimming down. Every time you tune into Sunday now, it's as though Laurie has just opened the Lost Ark.
It's melting.
What's happening to him? What about Kevin Rudd? Has he said anything's too cute by half lately?
Well, he might have given it a run last night.
Yeah. Was anyone behaving hairy-chestedly?
Not yet. Right wing and hairy-chested, too cute by half, too clever by half. He wheeled some of that out last night in the 7:30 report.
Have you got some clips?
Yeah, just a clip.
That's a practical solution. What's Mr. Howard's? 6 weeks before an election, there's a hospital in Devonport. I'm in trouble in the seat of Braddon. I've got a $50 million emergency package.
that's all.
Too cute by half.
So what they edited out is every time he gets too cute by half, there's a cattle prod on standby.
That's a practical solution. What's Mr. Howard's? 6 weeks before an election, there's a hospital in Devonport. I'm in trouble in the seat of Braddon. I've got a $50 million emergency package.
that's all.
Too cute by half.
Wow. Is that what Kerry O'Brien's turning on at the
Quite likes
7:30
that by the
report?
sounds of things.
And was John Howard watching that footage by any chance? I think
he was.
Yeah? What was his reaction to that? Nicely done on the buttons, Rich.
Work, Rich.
Can you tell I'm padding?
Yeah, I can actually. Why?
Why would I be padding again on Talkback
I've
Mountain?
been tricked. You've got no faith in my phone topics, Martin.
Well,
this is no. This is a good one. Stuff that has no right to be in dessert.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about this because I'm not a foodie, and I know you are.
'Cause, Nikki, you were telling me some in the office today. What's got no right to be in dessert?
Bread
Bread?
and rice.
Bread and rice.
Oh, hang on.
Rice pudding and bread and butter pudding.
So anything
You can't
really.
just put the word pudding on the end of things.
Okay.
Stick pudding doesn't make a dessert.
So this has got to be things that you've really seen somewhere in not just made up stuff. You can't
No.
go, oh, an anvil that
No,
wouldn't
that's
belong
true.
in pudding.
Oh, hang on. Okay, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with sticks. Every time you go to a fancy restaurant and they rip you off with massive plates and no food, covered in juice. At the end of the night, they're always like, "Would you like some dessert?" "Yes, please." Ice cream and waffles. And they go, "No. We've got plates of cheese, not dessert. Or you can have the creme brulee." And you go, "Okay, I'll have that because it sounds like it's actually got some taste in it." And you bring it out covered in sticks.
Like actual twigs.
Covered in twigs. Fancy restaurants are just trawling through parks looking for sticks for their desserts.
I have to say, I can't think of anything that I've seen in a dessert that shouldn't have been there.
Rhubarb?
What's wrong with rhubarb?
It's not tasty.
Is there anything to contribute here, Richard? I
Well,
mean,
there's a-
Crackers?
Well, my mum used to make sugar sandwiches
oh, really?
because growing up, they didn't have much money, so they would have 2 pieces of bread with sugar on them.
Wow.
And that was a full sandwich. That was a full meal.
Couldn't afford the 100,000 sandwiches.
That's what Ali Sheedy eats in the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, sugar sandwich. Absolutely.
And she was never seen again. Has Sheedy retired? I hear that Sheedy's out of the Breakfast Club.
She is.
27 years in the Breakfast Club. They've thrown her out.
All right,
Come on, get Sheeds back in.
Let's see how we go, Tone. G'day, Samantha. How are you?
Not bad, thanks.
What's got no place in dessert?
Beef juice ice cream.
Beef juice ice
Hang
cream.
on. Hang on.
Really fancy steak restaurant. Really fancy. One of the steak is even price on application. And they had this beautiful, I think it was a chocolate sponge truffle thing with beef juice ice cream.
So hang on. Samantha. So they've got the truffles and all of the dessert things, and then someone's wringing out a steak over some ice cream. Is that what you're saying?
I have no idea.
Is it like the cracked pepper shaker?
Like I wanted to try it.
I don't want to try it either. Maybe it's like the cracked pepper shaker. So they'll bring a steak to your table and say, "Beef juice on the ice cream, sir," and just wring it out in front of you.
No, that's disgusting. Bring me the offal sorbet. George McEncroe is here from the Brisbane Cage.
Honoured
and,
to be so.
Well, our billboards are sort of looking down at you, looming everywhere in Brisbane at the moment.
Apparently.
And yeah, I say the quote is, Tony Martin's the one who should retire Tony Blair.
Yeah, out of date, that Tone.
Oh, well, great.
What?
It's down on our billboards. They've only just gone up.
Well, I'm suggesting people should graffiti them with other things.
Oh, you're asking people to deface our billboards. Does that happen with...
That's incitement to violence. Incitement to right.
Violence?
I don't know.
I think we got into
Violent writing.
Do people attack your signs and billboards, the Brisbane Cage?
I believe they do, and if they haven't, then I think they should get cracking, quite frankly.
We got into a lot of trouble years ago on Martin Malloy. There was huge billboards up saying, Gary Sweet, Big Sky. And we're going, surely the word sky could be changed to something else. Surely. And the best one was simply Goog. Gary Sweet, Big Goog. That was the one we gave the prize to.
No,
and
so
then the police arrived.
Fantastic. But, Tone, we had some other ideas that didn't get up for the billboard.
Well, because you need a little quote and then it's by someone. That's the idea of the billboard.
What did you have?
Originally, the Will and Limo people did it. So I put, for quotes, they've stolen this idea off Will and Limo. Will and Limo.
Yeah.
What else have I got here? Is that still on, Jimmy Barnes? Thank you, Mr. Howard. I hope you're not going to use this quote on one of those billboards. Nelson Mandela. Thank you, Queensland Farmer. I like this one. You can always tell a show's in trouble when suddenly there's a really big sign. Tony Martin. Apparently,
Please explain.
yeah, okay, sorry, we couldn't get permission from me to use that quote. It's an unnecessarily large photo, but at least you can't hear them, Kerry-Ann Kennelly. I made 12 films while waiting for them to come up with a funny line. Steven Seagal. Isn't that tall one the bloke who got sacked from the KFC ads? Carl Stefanovic. It's a great show, apart from the bloke with the glasses, the tall idiot, and the other one who keeps butting in, Sir Ian McKellen. Queensland Farmer. And finally, the tall one is All Hands, Dame Judi Dench. Oh, that's not actually a joke. That's just a piece of courtroom testimony.
Yeah.
We thought we'd buy the rights to for the billboard.
Wow, yeah.
Okay.
enough.
Anyway, hope you're enjoying the Brisboards up north.
Get to facing.
He is someone who certainly isn't lavender. That's our candidate for Mayor of the Gold Coast, Warwick Capper.
W. Kappa.
Have we ever been sent a news story as many times as we have this morning?
Is that-
Oh, Warwick, have you no shame? Kappa stars in porn film. Now, okay,
I lent on it.
you know, is this helping
Well, I want to hear the details first.
the campaign for Mayor?
Warwick
Warwick
Capper.
Capper has dropped his dax to star in an X-rated porno alongside 25-year-old girlfriend Kirsty. The tape, lasting an hour and 9 minutes, don't forget that 9 minutes,
Hey.
has been bought by a Melbourne distributor for a six-figure sum and is set to feature on an American website. Says Warwick, I've done everything else. Oh, he has done everything else. There was that Booker Prize-winning novel, you
Absolutely
remember?
right. There was the time he was the first man up Everest. Just beating Sir Edwin Hillary. Edwin Hillary's going up there and he's like, what's that pink bit of hot pad ahead of him? Bloody Kappa.
I think I'm Australia's answer to Paris Hilton.
That's
Says Warwick.
Good impression. I'm just worried it will ruin his reputation. I hope it doesn't sully his
credentials.
Yes.
Someone also said I'm like David Beckham.
Who?
I don't know.
The voices in his...
But why? Because I'm a good-looking footballer with the same quick wit.
That's true.
Is he known for his quick wit, David Beckham? He can't string two words
No,
together.
someone
can
asked
he?
him a question in 1998, and the other day, I think he just came up with an answer, and it was hysterical.
He faxed them an answer. I thought of naming it Inside Work.
Oh.
Inside Work. I don't get that. I know the phrase inside job.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I think I understand.
Yeah.
Well, I know that he famously called. I think he was the guy who coined the phrase for a bed, the workbench.
Really?
I think so. I think he was doing like a Burke's backyard, show you around my house kind of thing. Here's a workbench, Don. Check it out. It's where you see my long blonde locks.
Black and Decker. Well, he's been given the bench a workout here. Oh, look, I used to take high marks. Now I'm jumping off high cupboards. What?
What is that?
What does that mean? That's what he's doing in this hour and 9 minutes, is it?
Does Warwick know what a porno is? Does he just...
He seems to think
Is it
it's,
just-
it's got a lot more hardware, a lot more renovation involved.
Yeah, maybe they showed the tape to the distributors. Warwick, this is just you jumping off furniture, man.
Onto your girlfriend.
Warwick Cato.
Well, it says the bloke in Melbourne who wants to buy it then wants to send it on to America. He thinks the tape could fetch close to $1 million. Why, does he say? Well, Warwick's got a remote control. He's zooming in and he's zooming out.
That's true.
So hang on, he's got a remote, so he's in this porno, this 1 hour, 9 minute jumping off cupboard spectacular. And in one hand, he's got a remote and he's working the camera. They couldn't even
Absolutely right.
afford a cameraman for this $1 million spectacular.
Afford a cameraman. He sacked the cameraman for being useless because he couldn't get the close-ups on Warwick's face just right. Warwick, are there any actual shots of the sex? This is all just you looking down the barrel.
So in the middle of the sex, is he stopping to adjust with the remote? Hang on, reframe.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm thinking? Live show. They should do this at Telstra Stadium in Sydney, then up at the Gabba in Brisbane.
Hang on. He doesn't perform on grass. Remember?
That's so true. Put a workbench down and a cupboard. And now, Warwick Kappa jumps off a cupboard onto the
workbench
containing the missus. An hour and 9 minutes later.
A lot of work with the remote, obviously. Pauses. Wow. Get the aspect ratio right. But the distributor also says they use the toys and pretty much do the whole kit and caboodle.
Oh, and the caboodle.
And the caboodle. That'd be in the 9 minutes.
Oh, I wish... like my caboodle to stay undone, thank you very much.
Leaping off a cupboard into the caboodle. Then it says down here, they're listing his previous credits. Warwick has posed for Penthouse many times.
I knew that.
Check. First person to be kicked out of Celebrity Big Brother for dropping his pants. Check.
Giving it away for years.
And has played a convict in a movie. What? Do you remember that?
No, not.
Do you remember him?
Was
I remember
he in there a weird mob?
years ago. I'm going, what is? I've never heard of that. So
Beethoven's second?
got onto their internet movie database.
They know everything.
He's got one acting credit ever.
Go.
Fortress, 1993.
Christopher Lambert
Christopher Lambert.
Oh.
Warwick is in that film playing brain dead prisoner.
Wow.
So hopefully he's reprising the role of brain-dead prisoner, leaping off the top of a cupboard with a remote control in one hand for an hour and 9 minutes.
Headlong into the Kaboodle.
Let's see. Well into August now. That means that Paddy Crandell is not happy. Oh. One of our listeners, Ed, I am outraged.
What is it, Paddy?
Ed, you deserve...
One, right up the bracket.
According to Paddy. I
Like
cannot...
to see you try, Paddy.
He says, what's with all this Star Trek Borgust nonsense? What happened to Norgust?
Now, Paddy, what you're suggesting is that we put a call out over the air for girls to send us pictures of their naked boobies.
We never said that. We never even outlined what Norgust might be. We just said it could be Norgust.
What do you think Paddy means? Paddy's not, he doesn't want a cocktail party where we discuss the finer points of the female eunuch.
But I don't understand.
Okay. he wants...
I understand Capril, you wear a cape to work for the month of April.
Yeah.
Borgust, you dress up as the crappier the better.
Yeah, now, this is the one we're actually doing.
Yeah,
There's
version
a big prize.
of the Borg from Star Trek. Look them up on the internet.
Now,
if you
can
don't
I
know
just
what they
say,
are.
start sending your photographs in, triplem.com.au.
There's no prize at this point. But
Shush, Tone.
we'll come up with something by the end of Borgust.
I'll sort one out by the end of the month, Richard.
Great.
By the time we're into Craptember, you will have worked it out. Okay, so but what do you do for Norgust?
See, this is what I'm saying. This is why you could never do it.
People just get round Norgs Ahoy.
Yeah. People just either drive past in a car, honk the horn, and flash them out the window.
Okay, Rich. All right, put that down.
It's kind of chilly. It's not exactly. I mean, August is a wonderful, but Norgust, and I mean, it's got to be more of a summer.
Norguary.
Norguary. I think.
We're stuck with Borgust because Ed said it on here.
Yeah, absolutely right.
That's what we're going to do.
Paddy, you sicko. If you're desperate to see Norgs, then just, get a girlfriend or something.
This is the kind of show we must run here because next to articles about Warwick Kappa's porno, the second most popular thing that we get sent...
The cat with the fork?
No. Ads for Steven Seagal's Lightning Bolt energy drink.
Oh, that's right.
It's an energy drink you can only buy from a website, from his website. Who goes to the internet to buy a refreshing beverage?
You've got to know that you're going to be thirsty 6 to 8 weeks in advance. I reckon I'll be really thirsty about September 16th.
Gee. I mean, maybe it's worth waiting for the Steven Seagal Lightning Bolt. But what about today? Respected Australian film director Bruce Beresford has put out his memoirs, I guess is what you call it.
Right.
He doesn't like Steven Seagal.
Oh, what?
According to Beresford, Seagal surrounds himself with beautiful young Asian women who call him master at his Los Angeles home.
What's the problem?
He surrounds himself with beautiful young Asian women and dresses as a Chinese restaurant, if you've seen any recent photographs.
Well, hang on, let's just have a look
A Nero jacket by Ringling Brothers. It's enormous.
All right, let's just look at the facts. What films has Beresford done? Name a couple.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Okay.
Break 'em a Rant.
Dodgy. Up against Half Past
Really?
Dead. Extreme Face Kick, or what was that one called?
On Deadly Ground.
On Deadly
The one
Ground.
where he did the 10-minute environment speech at the end.
Beresford doesn't have the guts to put on a white coat and tell us all about, the dangers of oil while kicking someone in the teeth.
Well, listen to this, though. The producer who drove me to his house, this is Beresford talking, confided that Seagal is so out of condition that he's doubled for everything in his movies except the close-ups.
Just getting out of a car.
Just walking. He apparently can't muster that these days.
They get the fat Mexican bloke to double for him because he looks better on screen than Seagal.
They have to dub out the sound of, the corduroy. When he's just walking. When he gets, the carpet burns between the legs.
Is it too early to get some heat on the street for September? I think maybe for Steven Seagal fans.
September?
September.
What would you do, though?
You'd have to obviously plan your thirst ahead and order a lightning bolt, get around in a giant Nero jacket that could easily
Silk tent.
house a family of 10, get everyone to call you master.
Not bad.
And have someone else doing everything for you except in the close-ups. And then even in the close-ups, you've got to have dodgy, weird Klieg lighting across the hairline.
And have your hair spray painted on.
Hang on, they can't show his body. They can't show the top of his head. There's very little you can actually see.
Eyes and nose.
Steven Seagal.
It's not his own mouth. Hasn't been in his own mouth for years. Doesn't chew anymore. Never chews.
All right, look, we've tipped a bucket on everyone.
Someone chews for him, and then like a bird, he opens his mouth and they regurgitate it in there for him.
We've tipped a bucket on everyone in the papers over the weekend except that nerd who hosts Get This.
Never heard of him.
Because there was an article about me in the Melbourne Herald Sun. Now, this is who was the guy who wrote it? Greg Tom called up Nicky about a week after the original Tony Martin Mick Malloy Funny Man Feud article appeared. And he's gone, I just want to write an article about Tony's radio show. And Nicky's gone, you said it's not going to be anything about the Tony and Mick feud, is it?
No.
And what did he say, Nicky?
He said, no, it's not off the back of that at all. I just really have always wanted to do a story on Tony.
Yeah, that's right. So
you did it.
I couldn't really say no because we don't really have many articles written about us. Promotions won't be very happy if I'm turning down publicity.
Fair enough.
So I've done the interview, which is not going to be anything about the Funny Man feud. He's interviewed me for about an hour and a half. It's probably 5 minutes on the feud.
And?
Here it comes. Here's the weekend paper. Picture of me and Mick, headline, Best of Enemies.
I think that might be about the feud.
And then there's an entire page photo of me and Mick facing each other with a huge crack down the middle between us, split ends.
Oh, no.
Sorry, what did he say? It's not going to be anything about that.
No, it's not so far.
So he's just a straight out liar.
But he said he doesn't pick the headlines.
All right.
Must be the sub.
Split ends. But hang on, that doesn't even make sense. I guess they've used split ends because I'm from New Zealand.
You're from New Zealand, too.
Yeah.
But wouldn't split ends be if the feud was over?
Right.
Like, shouldn't it be split begins?
Right. No, you're right.
It doesn't make any. It's just New Zealand split ends. That it's got the word split in it. That's near enough. Means the exact opposite of what we're trying to say, but
people will get it.
They won't probably get past the first word. Split.
I think we clocked up another My Favourite Martin headline too.
Did we? That's what I'm leading to. Then on the front of the section, My Favourite Martin.
There he is.
Yet again.
Why are you driving a car?
But this is the thing. See, they were so sneaky about this. They call up and they've gone, we want to get a photo of Tony in a car wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've gone, is that a reference to my career? No. It's because in the interview he referred to being in a car accident, so we thought we'd make that the photo.
Okay.
I've gone, really? I guess I don't have to do any hammy acting because the car wreck will be doing all the work.
You could have sent a production still from David Cronenberg's Crash.
It's porno movie made by the TAC. So the photographer's shown up at the station, and he was an unusual character. He'd borrowed John English's teeth for the week, clearly.
Wow.
He rocks up and he goes, I've just been taking a photo of Ian McEwan. And I've gone, Ian McEwan, the Booker Prize-winning author, he's in town. No, mate, Gandalf. Okay, as long as you know who it is you're photographing.
Yeah, good news.
So we've got in the car and we've driven miles and miles down to the foreshore. As you can see, it's just a photo of me looking through a steering wheel with a blurry background. Could have been taken anywhere.
Yeah, could have been anywhere.
So we get in the car and the photographer, he's starting the ignition. So he put the key in the ignition and then he's gone, hang on a second, mate. And he's pulled out this hose from under the dashboard and he started blowing into it. And I'm going, what's going on here? He's gone, mate, this is the price you pay for having too much fun. And he's got a car that will not start unless your alcohol level is below the legal limit. So it's something. It must be something the cops do. They fit a hose to your car. So he's blowing into it. Don't worry, mate. We'll have this photo taken in no time.
Hang on, mate. How much have you had to drink? Could you just blow into this for me?
Listen, you go, wouldn't you just get someone else?
Do you want a sip of this? Wow.
So he started the engine. We're driving down the street. We get to the lights and the car stalls, so he's got to do it again. He was almost blowing us for 20 blocks.
Well, hang on.
Hang on a second. Well, not literally. That'll get into the papers. There's a new headline.
There's a good photo.
Suddenly I am My Favourite Martin again. So after enormous amount of wind power, we've made it down to the foreshore. He's given me this steering wheel. I'm sitting amidst this wreckage of a car accident. But he's in really close. Like it's just me and the steering wheel. I'm going, what about all the rest of it? No, mate, this will be fine. And then the article comes out, and look what they've done. They've got a photo of me looking through a steering wheel, and this is what it says underneath. Comedians Tony Martin and Mick Malloy aren't talking. Their 20-year friendship is in tatters. But Martin insists he's the one in the driver's seat.
Oh, no.
Ouch! So what am I doing? I'm saying, you were having a feud, but don't worry, mate. I'm the one driving this thing.
You insist on that.
So they've worked that out and then they've gone, how can we get a shot of him looking through a steering wheel?
That's not good.
we'll tell him we'll do this thing that's connected with the car crash.
That's not.
Crop it in close and he won't know.
You were better off with the hose blowing photo or
blowing the guy.
Quite happy. Quite happy to be blowing a car up the street.
Yeah.
So watch out. That's the tricks they do.
Jesus.
How's that?
Well, they asked me if I'd do a story about Richard Marsland, and the photograph was just me sort of stabbing an effigy of him. So I don't know how they're going to use that. I don't think that's going to come up well at all.
Won't bite you at all.
It's a reference to you attacking your career.
Ah, sweet. Yeah. Why does this thing say Marsland on it? Nah, don't worry about it. I could say anything.
That'll be cropped out.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
You won't see that.
Oh, well, dear, oh, dear.
What have you seen is what we're playing today. Ku Klux Klan video pranks.
Sorry about that. Busy weekend, though.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, were you involved in a bit of that?
Looked lovely in the hood.
It's all on the YouTube. It's our soldiers overseas. They're under a lot of pressure, so they're dressing up as the Ku Klux Klan. John Howard said,
I have some, understanding of the disposition of people in those situations, perhaps to let off a bit of steam.
Yeah. Sitting at home in Wollstonecraft reading a hardcover book about Gallipoli. I have a lot of understanding of the need to dress up as the Ku Klux Klan. Gallipoli, they're invoking Gallipoli. Did you see Brendan Nelson? Oh, that's always from the time of Gallipoli. There's a sort of larrikin irreverence in our soldiers.
Well, that idea is he's saying it's the birth of a nation, really, wasn't it, when Gallipoli happened? But in their defence, they're only dressing in camouflage because I believe the next war's at Captain Snooze. Is that right, Tony? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
They are letting off steam because it's the best way to get the wrinkles out of the blankets and the pillowcases.
Hang on, he's on a roll. But the YouTube videos from Gallipoli, they were outrageous, weren't they?
Hysterical.
Riding a penny farthing into a portaloo while someone's in there. Dropping some Mentos into a, I don't know, olden days drink.
Bottle of Scrumpy.
Oh,
Scrumpy's the only booze that comes in a jug. It's delicious.
It's just letting off a bit of steam. You know what it's like when you're under pressure. Oh, I'm under so much pressure at work. I better go and put a sheet over my head and burn a flaming cross.
Nothing like a lynching just to unwind.
But how does he understand? It's presumably, it's quite normal around at our place. Jeanette and myself.
God.
Bob Catter will come round. We'll burn a few crosses.
Bob Catter.
Sacrifice a few black people on the altar of hate. What's so unusual about that? It's like our boys in Gallipoli. Nonsensical. I don't know. I'm just presumably out of touch.
Yeah. No, you're not.
Okay, what have you seen, Ed Cavalier?
Well, look. We normally talk videos and the like, but I want to throw the net open. Whoa. To include things you've seen on the street. I was out at a nightclub on the weekend.
Yep.
Oh,
what am I doing? Am I high-fiving it?
They're high-fiving each other.
It was an impromptu one. I improvised around it well, though.
You guys are so young.
So good.
Yeah.
We should swap MySpace photos. So there was a guy getting into a cab, but it was at the changeover time when there's thousands of people looking for a cab and no cabs around.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you know, and fellas, you know what I mean, hey? So when you walk up to a cab, often like girls will come bouncing over a group of girls and be like, "Oh, hey, how are you?"
Yeah,
Pretend to flirt with you and then steal your cab.
Well, the cab drivers tend to stop for women more than men because
that's true.
Because they're less of a threat, I guess.
And they can normally tell when it's just you and I in a dress.
They're less likely to be footballers.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely right. Well,
not necessarily.
Not
true.
Not quite, but anyway. This guy, he dealt with it so nicely. These girls came over and bundled into his cab. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. He was the drunkest man in Australia. And as they were driving off, he grabbed the window and yelled into it, "All right then, all right, but I live in Perth. And if I don't get to the airport on time, it's your fault." Right? And as they drove off, he got on his knees and shouted at the heavens, "I live in Perth!" And he got a little round of applause from the people eating McDonald's on the side of the road.
Did you hear me? I said Perth.
So more power to him.
Well, more power to you, Senator Lightfoot. I hope you made it home. Was there any hoon driving out on the streets on the weekend? Did you see?
Yeah, there's always a bit of hooning going on. You know,
in Sydney, they've worked out the answer. Here's a what have I've seen. If that makes sense. Ken Moroney, he'd be the New South Wales Police Commissioner. He's got a great idea for hoon drivers.
One fails to comprehend the moronic behaviour of some people. And you have to question whether, as in the case of the United States, whether the solution to this problem is in part the compacting of vehicles into a cube. dropped on the front lawn of their home.
Bang! Sorted. Here's your car back.
Hoon in that. Best of luck.
A cube. The challenge, though, would be to get the cube up and running again. Get some cube racing, get some cube burnouts happening.
I imagine it'd be like a Rubik's Cube to have to try and put the car back together from its,
Imagine
cube state.
Like going through so many cars and just building a wall of cubes.
that's
Just saying,
lovely.
check it out.
A fort.
Check out how fast I am.
Cheap housing. Keep buying $700 cars. Hoon around in them. They'll cube them for you. Use them as bricks. Build a big house.
Are they going to cube all the old station Black Thunders that are being retired?
No.
We should get them cubed.
No.
Let's get them cubed.
And then we could all wear a little bit as a necklace. Hello, Fleur. How are you?
It was very disturbing, and I've been waiting for the perfect forum to talk about this with someone. I know you'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
Walking through my lounge room last week, on TV was Entertainment Tonight.
Yes.
I saw them interviewing someone. I just looked at the TV and went, oh my God, Nicole Kidman's head. What's going on?
Oh, really?
What's going on? I don't understand how you can be an actress and have no expression in your face.
Well, that's...
Well, obviously the implication is that there's some Botox work going on, but we can't confirm that. I mean...
and her lips are so big now.
Well, Fleur, this is the kind of stuff that will make you editor of Famous magazine. Those comments right there are worth their weight in gold, my
Thank you
friend.
very much.
I
It was
think
shocking.
A lot of people get the new lips installed and then somehow assume that all the old photographs of them in films like Days of Thunder will have been destroyed.
Absolutely right.
And I've seen BMX Bandits. I've gone back that far.
Hello, Katia. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. What have you seen?
Hey, I just wanted to say, by the way, the only reason I haven't called until today is because I never had anything to say with your other topics.
Really? Oh, you had nothing for what animal would you steal for the zoo, or
Nothing.
where would you wear your tracksuit?
Nothing.
We're glad this one brought you on board. What have you seen?
Well, I go to uni on St Kilda Road. It's a music performance uni.
Fantastic.
In Melbourne, yes?
Yep, and basically there's this old lady who comes in all the time and she uses our pianos because she used to be some piano prodigy.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the calf downstairs and she was sitting across from me and all of a sudden she brings out this bottle of milk with a strange kind of teat. And then out of her big Mary Poppins type carpet bag, she pulls out a newborn possum, I think. It was like this rodent type thing. It was absolutely disgusting. And she just starts feeding this possum from the bottle.
Feeding a possum. Did that go on when you were at uni in Kevley?
Well, we had possums in the courtyard where I used to hang around, Katia.
Yeah.
And every now and again they'd sort of scuttle up to you and try and grab one of the rubber meatballs off your plate. But that was about as far as we got.
But this possum didn't even look like a possum. It just looked like this ball of skin with claws. I couldn't even figure out what it was for a
Ball
while.
of skin.
There's some photographs of Nicole Ritchie in the New Weekly this week that look very much like what you're describing.
Well, Katia,
Even claws.
I'm if you could get a photo and send it to us, that'd be great because I'm at a loss.
See, the problem is in this country, your possum is a protected species.
What?
Well, it is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is, yeah.
It is. Across the Tasman, where I'm from, you can just blast away at them with shotties. That's what people would do after dinner every night. Let's go and blast some possums. It's 10 minutes on the It's a Knockout over there.
Get this, it's blown out to 2 hours, 11 to 1 weekdays on the Triple M network.